So the main thing I've been working on is the binding screen. So the main mechanic behind in my game is the ability to combine cards. So I'm just gonna go ahead and nuke these enemies so I can get straight to the binding screen. It's a little developer-only card. No one else can get that, but I can have that. So after every fight, you get the options to add a button, combine skills, or combine an attack with modifiers or enhancers. So I've been working on this screen because it's like such a central mechanic of my game. I really wanted to have the screen and just the interaction itself to be like much more clear than it was, and then also just a lot more satisfying. So what I've done is a lot of work on this screen that didn't used to. Oops. Yeah, it looks like it's a little misaligned. Yeah, see. So I'll have to make some tweaks before I actually push this out. But yeah, this still gets the point across. So I now have a preview option, so you know what you're about to get. That kind of helps because there was a little bit of it was a little unclear what you would get in some scenarios, depending on the types of cards you were combining. So having a preview on this screen has been really helpful. So we call it this, and so then you can see the preview that you're about to get. You can also click on the card to reverse the effects. Sometimes it'll matter depending on what it does. So if you click, then you can change the order of the abilities. Instead of block curation, you get curation block. So that is that mechanic there. And then I also have the button. And so these are extra modifiers you can add onto your cards that trigger when they're discarded. So basically they trigger when you're not using the card. So we will gain life when we don't use the card. And then same thing, you still get a preview. You get to, like say you don't think you're going to block, or maybe you're not going to attack. You can have this effect, and then yeah, if you don't use it, you'll recover 2 health. And so yeah, that's kind of the screens I've been working on. Getting this kind of polished up with this little pre-rendered background. Pretty happy with how this turned out. So had some of the stuff already modeled. Had to model like the scissors, the bowl, and then some of this other stuff like buttons and spools I already had. So kind of just brought it all in here, and then the background made that. So yeah, happy with how the screen looks. Obviously, there's still a little bit of stuff I need to clean up. I basically have some like resolution issues. Like depending on what resolution, this stuff isn't aligning. So I need to figure out how to make it consistent because obviously this is supposed to actually be on the card. But yeah, now I also have a button animation. So if I actually apply the button, this should play. Cool. So yeah, that was a little render I made in Blender. And then the sound effects, I've been working with a person, Twilight Sky Sound, and so I've got some of their sound effects. It's the sound of the music that's playing in the background right now, as well as during that little playthrough. Other thing I got feedback on was just like some snappier animations, and I don't want to redo all my animations because I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So instead, I've made this little animation speed slider. And so right now it's set at the lowest, like just at the base 1. But if you crank this thing up, this should be about, we'll go like maybe 2-ish times. So it's an actual slider, so it'll adjust. But we'll, let's skip through this. So then now the animations should play way faster. And so you don't have as much downtime when you're waiting for your abilities to go off, because everything goes a lot faster. I tried to make it so everything is tied to it. So everything from like these bead speed to this lid closing to the card shuffling, everything should be now faster because I tied it to a global animation speed slider. So that should help for people who've played before and are kind of already know what's going on. I think it's just a nice feature to have, and so that might also help with some of the animations not being as snappy as people want. It's like, well, if you start to speed them up, then things kind of look a bit better. So that was some feedback I got. One other feature I worked on was people wanted the ability to right-click to drop the card. So if they don't want to actually do this, you right click and you can drop. I actually got that feedback from 3 separate people because they didn't trust just dropping it away from the target for whatever reason. They're just used to right click dropping. So and it was bugged. My right click before just like locked you in. It was like the opposite of what they wanted. So I went ahead and added that for people. Should also work for this. Yep. Let's see. So that's animation speed. That's the drop. The music. Oh, the music. Actually, it should have already played, but I'll just go ahead and play one more time. So at the beginning of this fight, you should hear the... Let's just go ahead and continue. You should hear the poison effect trigger. Yeah, that the little sizzle with the bubbles. So that is another sound effect that I worked on with Twilight Sound and several others throughout. I'm going to keep working with them. They've been great, so I'm going to keep on that. I think that is... Oh, that's almost everything. One other thing I've been working on, final thing, is I've been working with a couple other artists, and I also don't want to have so many enemies in this encounter. It's going to look a little awkward because it's still not actually implemented, but it's still cool, so I'm going to show it. Is Act 2. So I'm not ready to really work on Act 2 in earnest. I'm going to turn this down. I think the volume on this effect is louder. But I've worked with an artist. They made this basement scene for me. So Act 2 is going to be down in the basement. I did some like glow effects, and I'm trying to get the lighting so that I can show off more of their work without it like losing its mysterious, gloomy nature. It's kind of a balancing act because I don't want them to be sad about all the work that they've done not showing up, but also I need it to be kind of mysterious. And then I worked with, and all the background, all the scenery is done by Kevin DeJong. And then this Frogbot was done by L. Raphael God. Raphael, I've been working with him. He did all the animations as well as the texture and the model of this Frogbot. You might have even seen it on Reddit if you're on Reddit. The base version was like a happy-go-lucky, like friendly-looking frog, and I'm like, that's really cool. But can we make an evil frog be for a boss for Stitch to fight? And so he made some tweaks to it, and this is kind of what we came up with. Really excited about that. I would show off the animations, but unfortunately, like I said, it's not actually wired up, but it is fully animated. He like hops in off the screen. He does his attacks and stuff, so very, very satisfying, very cool. So I just wanted to share that. It's a little sneak preview of what's to come, but unfortunately, I really do need to focus on Act 1 only, so Act 2 is just going to be waiting in the wings. But I did at least get it all into Engine, and it does work now. So, but yeah, I think that is it for my game.